Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Well, not technically live. This is the DODCAST episode, I believe, technically, is it 11, 10? Looks like, I think the most recent episodes have all said 10 on my little thing, but I think it's actually 12 at this point. I'm going to double check that real quick. 9, 10, 11, 12. That's right. So episode 12, who would have thunk? I'm Corey Jagan Marco. This is my special guest, Brandon Booten Newton. No, I'm just kidding. Unfortunately, there was an extreme miscommunication this week. It is my fault, for real, and I'm not just taking the fall on this. I put it down in my phone calendar for Wednesday at 9 p.m. and as many of you will recall, I kept telling everybody late Wednesday night, DODCAST is coming out. That's when I'm recording it with Booten. And then, so apparently in reality, it was Tuesday night that it was supposed to be going down. Brandon was ready to go on Tuesday night. I had, at like 8 p.m., just stepped away like 5 feet that way to go watch TV and said, if anybody needs me, send me a text to Thunder. And unfortunately, nobody was around to hear Brandon's cries for help, and therefore I didn't get text, and therefore the next day I came on to having missed his messages, and I was like, what do you mean? I thought we were recording it tonight. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure it was last night. And I'm like, huh. And then I went back and checked all the old messages with me and Brandon and Jared and was like, it was Tuesday night. So I helped that. The reason that this is coming out this late is because I tried to wait and see if we could, get everything together for Brandon and still get him on this week. Unfortunately, here we are. It's Friday morning. I'm currently awaiting the thunder snowstorm that's coming my way. Hopefully, I'll be shoutcasting later, or I won't have a computer or power. So we'll see. Anyways, this is episode 12. We've got the playoff semifinals and also the finals for the Silver B. So that's definitely the match of the week there, let me tell you. And yeah, things are going to be interesting. There will obviously not be a one-on-one with the guest this time around, but I don't know. I guess I'm going to try to keep it as brief as humanly possible because there is a risk of my power going out in the middle of this. And then there's no DODCAST episode. So, I guess let's just see if I can get... I mean, there's less matches and everything today, obviously. I think it'll be fine. So, getting right into the swing of things here because they're really like, the veto process, we went over it. Stat page last week, we went over it. Captains, everyone needs to be ready to schedule things. Don't just expect things to be done for you at this point because the scheduling process, like you need to get with the other captain and there's a veto to do and server choices. Like just be proactive if you're a captain right now because that's the only way to ensure that your match is going to get played. Obviously, it's the playoffs. There's a lot more wiggle room because there's so few teams left to play. It's not like if we don't play our match by this week, whatever week, then like some other team is getting fucked over for it. Like after this week, there's only going to be 2 teams left in gold and silver A. There's going to be no teams left in silver B. So, point being, have a conversation with your opposing captain. I'm sure things can be worked out in most cases. Not that I think this has been a problem at this point. I'm pretty sure everything's gone off without a hitch, but there's always some sort of scheduling snafus because everybody's on different fucking schedules. So that was really the only spring cleaning type thing I had to get out. Not spring cleaning, house cleaning. So, anyways, let's just get right into the shit that has been going down, which is playoff matches. So right off the bat, Well, let me switch my screen over to be exact. There it is. No, that's not it. There it is. No, that's not it. Are you serious? Where is it? There it is. Okay. All right, so last week we had, what was it, like 4 matches, 5 matches, I believe, something along those lines. Quarterfinals in gold and silver A. Well, one of them was like the play-in match in silver A, quarterfinals in gold, and then the semifinals in silver B. So we're going to start off with silver B here. Where is this side of the bracket? So this, I didn't get to cast this one at all. CIS versus Moose Knuckle. CIS won 555 to 220, cashing their ticket to the finals, which is awesome. So cool that CIS gets to go play in a final this season. They have worked hard to get as good as they can, and I just love to see them succeeding. And, you know, good luck to them in the finals. But this match I know nothing about. It looks like Sean, of course, on Moose Knuckle went off. He's been playing really, really well, and I suspect next season he will be able to find himself any team that he wants to play on if he doesn't stay with Moose Knuckle. Looks like Low Carb rang and dropped to 30. And then on the other side, of course, Riley Staffer is a beast. PKLI with 28, Fyro with 30. Arachnid was ringing as well, I guess. Wow, that's I guess for Hong Kong Mafia, stats-wise, you know, there's only a couple snipers that match up to him, so that's completely understandable. Shiko with 22, Azilla with 18. What about the other half here? Sean with another 29, 69, very nice. Low Carb with 29. Bo with 14, G with 27, Blackheart 16, OS with 18, and then on CIS, Fyro again, 34, Riley Staffer again, 33, Arachnid 31, Azilla 29, Shika 23, and PKLI with a very solid 32. Had himself a good match there. I mean, this is pretty much as expected. CIS has just continued to get better and better, and Moose Knuckle, they have some good players, you know, like they really do, and it's just a matter of being able to get them all on at the same time. I don't know that they've been able to practice or anything like that. I don't think that they've really, you know, been necessarily like trying to practice as a team. Like I think they're mostly just kind of playing and having fun, you know, which you love. You love to see it, and you know, hopefully they did have fun this season. Like regardless, obviously the season is over now. I don't know. Bo's always having fun, though, I can tell you that. And those guys, when I have got to watch them, they've been very fun to watch. And it's cool to see, you know, players that like were in pubs, like they were just pubbing. Some of them I know, and weren't in any sort of competitive scenario here, and now they started, and you know, like, it's just cool. It's cool to see guys and how good they are, like OS and Bo. I mean, I've seen Bo play a million times, but watching them on Rail Yard, they were hitting a lot of crazy shots, you know? Like, it was just like, what the fuck? It just goes to show that, like, the average skill level in this day and age is way beyond what it would have been certainly in 2004 and 5 and 6. Like, the average skill level at that point was, I mean, just watch old movies, really. Watch old movies and tell me what it looks like the other team is attempting to do against these players. Because a lot of the times, they just have no idea what's going on. They're most certainly not nading things that all the average players that you see nowadays are definitely nading. There's a lot of people who weren't really proficient at counter strafing or things like that. Etc., etc. Just go watch movies from like before 2000, say 7, 8, and notice like there's you know, the exception. There was a lot of ridiculous players that were already doing all the things that you know, good players are doing now. God, I'm all out of balls, so I'm on to the old monster. But the average player, that's the real difference here. When it comes to this kind of stuff, and being able to see that, you know, like Moose Knuckle guys who are not like going, you know, they're coming from a pub. to play in a league, and their like that baseline playing is so impressive to me, how good they are and what they're able to do and the shots they can hit and the nades they throw and their map awareness and stuff like that. So that's been really, really cool and interesting for me to see. In theory, that was my theory already, that like the average baseline of players at this point is way above where it's ever been. You see it in team play all over the place and what guys are doing and clips that they post everywhere that you see in Shoutcast. Like, people are capable of crazy, crazy things all across the board that you just didn't see back then from anybody outside of like the Kellens, the Doritos, the Ninjas, the Pies, the Marshalls, the Bees, and that's just awesome. And on CIS side, they're headed to the finals. And I'm sure Riley Staffer is loving that shit. And Hong Kong and Shika and Azilla and everybody, they've been going off all season trying to make the most of this opportunity to be active in 1.3 and scrimming. And I'm sure watching Corey Price's like instructional videos on nades and how to play maps and stuff, like they have improved just, a millionfold. You look at, Riley Staffer in the first scrim that they played, which was against us, and J-Rod and I heavied, he was already nuts. But the team itself, like they had a long way to go, and they have come that long way, and only continue to get better. So, it's just exciting to see they're headed to the finals of the first season. Good luck to them, and we're going to find out now who it is that they're playing against. We had Fast Loris playing Bedtime Now, and obviously you can see there, Fast Loris won 672 to 99. I did get to cast like 75-80% of this. There were some delays. There was a lot of, like BMing going on back and forth and stuff, like server issues and stuff. I personally, to me, I don't care, I'm not mad at anybody for any of that. Rivalry, I think, is good in DOD as long as it stays respectful, obviously. You don't want to get crazy about it. But a little showmanship, a little gamesmanship, I will never be like, that's fucked up. I know there are some people that are like, let's just all be friends all the time. But this is a competitive league. And competition will bring that out in people. I am the first one to admit it. Having competed in a million different things, and I have no problem with people getting this way towards one another. I've had some apologies sent to me from people on both sides, and I'm like, it's honestly fine, guys. You don't have to apologize to me or anybody else about it. Now, when it goes too far and people are getting personal with one another, then you need to apologize to each other, and people shouldn't do that. It's not cool. But when it comes to being rivals and disliking each other in game and stuff, I think that's good for anything, for DOD in particular. Who would have thought in 2022 there would be people that just really didn't like each other in game and were going at it and trying to take each other out to the best of their abilities. I love that shit. It's good for competition. It's good for the heart. It might have gone a little too far in this case. I know I've heard things that seem not good, but, I don't know. Anyways, Fast Loris won. I felt like we should, address that because it was kind of a story that was happening in my cast. I had to leave probably 5 minutes left or 6 minutes left, I think, in the second half. At that point, it was already done and dusted, really, and Typical's match was starting in gold, so it was kind of I was hoping that maybe they would get delayed so I could finish out the rest of this match, but I didn't get to. But obviously, you can see here, Stamp had a massive half on Axis. Me and Matt were making predictions about who would top frag. I said it would be Red Dog. He said it would be Stamp, and then as you can see here, after the first half, we had, Kevin, of course, we both were like, it could be Kevin. At the same time, we fully acknowledge that Kevin just as easily could top frag here. Hey Hi had COVID. On the other side, Toki did really, really well. Hoolies was going off with the SDG. He was going long. and was just like hitting crazy shots everywhere. Chewy played incredibly well too, both halves. I think she had like 40 seconds. I'll check it in a second, but she was hitting a lot of crazy shots as well. And then like I think it was Twist was going long, or maybe was it Laura going long? No, I think Laura was going well. And now I'm fucking blanking, and I'm pretty sure it was Twist going long. Kevin was hitting a lot of fucking crazy shots. So was Laura. But yeah, so I predicted Red Dog. He predicted Stamp, and we were like, oh, it was like a battle up until the very, very end here. And then, you know, you'll see what happens second half. I already kind of showed it. I saw Sean and Kenny hitting some. I mean, these guys are all hitting crazy shots. That, like, again, it goes back to what I'm saying before, where it's like just the skill curve at this point is like whoop. You know, like the whole time it's just kind of like going straight up. It's very, very interesting to me. Beluga, by the way, is like really, really good with the STG. Of having seen him play more recently. This guy continuing to practice more could end up being quite a good heavy. Like, I feel like he's got the same kind of potential that you saw at Allen. You know, obviously now Allen is doing crazy shit all over the place, but when I first came around, I feel like Allen was getting like 10 to 15 kills a half whenever I saw him playing, and he just kept grinding it out. Obviously, he had bad internet connection too, but he's just kept getting better and better. I feel like this guy reminds me of that. I mean, Hooley's does too. Hooley's was doing some fucking crazy shit with the STG going long. Who goes long on Lennon with an STG? And he was actually killing the sniper, which was stealth, mind you. No, not some slouch anywhere. It was fucking Kevin, who is a ridiculous Lennon sniper by any standard, let alone here. So, but on the other side, as I spoiled, so my prediction here ends up with 38. You know, like, I was pretty close, but Stamp fucking went crazy. I think there was one point he almost aced. Like, I think he like got a car kill or an STG kill. Or no, it was like STG kill, picked up a car, got a double car, picked up a sniper, and got 2 more sniper kills. Or maybe it was like a sniper and a pistol. All in a matter of like 6 seconds. It was crazy. Kevin as well had like multiple fucking insane clips. With that will be in the frag of the week, he tells me. Hey, you know, with COVID, still ended up getting 60-something kills. Twist had nobody to kill it long because Kevin was going crazy. So we ended up with 20 this half as well. And then Lauron, well, again, look at the kills that were coming from, you know, and we talk about this with Lennon. It's the heavies, it's the heavies, it's the heavies. Like, they go through the middle of the map and have access to both sides. So generally your heavies are doing most of the heavy lifting. Pun only mildly intended. And as we can see here, that is as true as ever with Stamp and Red Dog. But Stamp ended up with 45. He top fragged. Matt is now dubbed No Leg Stradamus. I've lost the title. On the other side of things, as I alluded to, Chew with 39, man. And she had some, I saw a clip that she had that was just like crazy. It kind of looked like a clip of me. There were some really crazy no scopes in there. Toki with 34 ended up second top ragging for them. And then obviously with the way the apartments team were just like going off here, it's going to be tough for anybody else to get kills here. Like, the fact that there was 2 people with 30 kills is crazy. When you got a 45, a 38, a 37, a 31, like, just crazy that they were able to keep it this close in frags. You know, and I know Bedtime Now are supposed to be coming back next season. They stepped up big. When we lost DreamWorks from the league. I mean, obviously it's not. I think that there was like a potential backup solution in case Bedtime Now couldn't come through, but like the fact that they did made it better for everybody else, because then you got to play out those matches. Everybody got to play more matches because of it, so movies just got better because of this. And you know, everybody should thank Bedtime Now for stepping up and putting a team together and showing up week in and week out and everything. Not an easy task to step in like week 6 or 7 or whatever it was. A team that hadn't really got to practice together, certainly weren't planning on playing in the league, obviously, or else they would have been in the league from week 1, you know, and just kudos to them for coming through, They managed to get a win, I believe, at some point, if I recall correctly. At least they have a win on record. I forget when it was. There's just so many matches. My head could explode at this point. It's actually like bumping real life shit out of my memory because of how many things I have to remember in DOD at this point. It's driving me crazy. But yeah, hopefully Bedtime Now sticks around as a team. They have a lot of potential. Sean is a good player. Kenny, I've seen do all this crazy stuff. Hooley's, like I said, in that match looked great. Chewy just looks great all the time. She's got really, really good Garand and Stas recoil, and obviously she's been around forever. And as I said, Beluga is somebody who reminds me of like Alan when I first got back in like January, February, or whatever, where he just kept grinding. And now you see the fruits of that labor as he is dropping bombs with the heavy all over the place after getting some added help from Taylor, a guy who understands the game very well and has been around forever. That tutelage has paid off for him, and I could see something like that happening with Beluga as well, just the way that he seems to have like that baseline skill level with the heavies. So good season to Bedtime Now. Fast Loris moving on to face CIS in the finals. We'll get to that later. Let's move on to Silver's lone matchup, which was No-Go versus Sleepers. And this is tough because I love both these teams. Most people do. No, we didn't want anybody to lose this one. Nobody did. But you can see there, No-Go ends up with the win 363 to 306. This was a crazy fucking match. Man, Matthew's client scheme, I can never see just when I'm looking at it through Discord. I wonder what resolution he plays on. Can I check that? .1085 by 610. I don't know if that's correct. Anyways, so this match was nuts. No-Go was in like a commanding lead here. Oh, I should show this bracket just, for posterity's sake. There it is. Have a look-see at it from that side, but so No-Go was really it was surprising. I thought this would be a really, really close match. And No-Go comes out first half 260 to 40, right? And it's like, wow. Spoon was going off. That's a big reason why. And Matthew sniping. Everybody did a really, really solid job on both teams. I'm not exaggerating that. These two teams practice together a lot. They understand how one another play, both on their own team and on the opposing team. And it showed in this match because No-Go was firing on all cylinders. Sleepers wasn't really sure how to break out of this. They were just kind of getting choked out slowly at their first flag. Spoon was up everybody's ass, as expected. We had some questions about who would play what class. Matthew ended up sniping, just like they did on Harrington earlier in the season. Dedro ended up heavying, which he didn't do the first time, but I think that's because Louis is in, so he rifled. And Apple was the sixth, whereas they had Yanni, who could heavy before. He didn't get to play this week. He's on vacation or something. Or he's gone now. I know that he was supposed to be gone for the rest of the season at some point with work. This might be that point. We'll see. They're still alive, so if he can come back, he should, because they could use him. So yeah, 260 to 40 there. Van Aki, of course, 33. Zaps was doing a lot of really crazy shit. Looked excellent. Matt and I think Chi was going mountain. I think Chi car-barred. So I think, did he car mountain? I think he was going mountain to mid. And LZL and Zaps, or no, Zaps was going mid. Vanaki was going long. Oh, no. They had LZL sniping, I believe, and Byrne was not sniping this week. He was back on the light. He was going mid and doing the mid-house stuff that he always used to do. Yeah. Now it all came back to me. And, of course, Matt was heavying, etc., etc. So, big lead there, as you can see. 260 to 40 was the story of that half. Now you jump over to the next half. Oh, shit. I just realized I had it opened up. I don't know if anybody could see that. Whoops. Well, I was saying what everybody was doing. I'll open that back up so we can look at it here. I forgot I opened it in a new window. So you can see 47 on Spoon, 35 on Matthew, 29 on Lou, 21 on Dedro, 22 on Apple, 22 on Saf, Over here, Vanaki 33, Zaps 30, Matt 21, Chi 20, 29 on LZL, 24 on Burn. Sorry, I forgot that opened in a new window when I hit open original. So, 260 to 40 was that half. Now you can see here. Wow, 266 to, I believe that says 100. Hold on, I gotta open it up in the fucking, this thing here. Wow, it's really taking a long time to load. Is the snowstorm happening yet? Maybe that's why. What the fuck? Really? This is still loading right now. Okay, okay. Once more. Once more. Come on, motherfucker. Refresh. Okay, I give up. So it's 266 to, I think that's 103, right? Now, the second half started with sleepers threatening, and it was like, okay, they look like they're in good shape to do this, and then it all turns around on them. No-Go ends up capping out first in the second half on their axis side, and it's like, this isn't good. I think it's over for sleepers. Like, you know, if this is how it looks to start on their allied side, like, they're in some trouble here, because you want to be controlling on the allied side. If you're down by especially like 220 points, you really want to cap out first. You do not want to give out that first cap out. However, at a certain point, I think it was around like 10 minutes, 8 minutes left, sleepers just clicked all of a sudden and seemed to figure out like what was going on and what they needed to do. And it just became like cap out, 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 cap out. In the end, obviously they lost by 57. So that opening cap out on their axis side for No-Go was huge. If not for that, if sleepers had gotten the cap out and not had it reversed on them, you know, that's an 80-point swing, and they win. Because sleepers was threatening to cap out, and then it was a reverse, like 180 on them. So if sleepers could have held on there and finished the cap out and not had to turn back around and then get capped on, sleepers wins this match comfortably. But you never know, obviously, how things can play out at that point. This is just making assumptions. If they had capped out, maybe they don't apply the pressure that they do with 8 minutes left. But they did, regardless. And it was insane, dude. Like, it was just like they capped out. It's like, all right, well, that's a good first step, but they really don't have any time left. Like, there's no way they can do it. And then they cap out again like 30 seconds later. And it's like, okay, well, if they could do that like 4 more times or 5 more times in a row, then they probably have enough time. They do it again and again and again. And it's like, oh my God, like there's a minute left. They need to cap out twice, though, looking at the score. And they got the first cap out, and I think there was only like 20 seconds left. And it became like, well, they have to like go balls to the wall here and basically kill the entire team without anybody dying, get right on mid, the extremities got to go cap the flags immediately. They'd have to get the kills on the run, you know, like they just ran out of time. But it was a really impressive comeback effort by them, honestly. Like, the fact that it got that close was bonkers. This still isn't loading. What the fuck? But anyways, looking at the scores, Vanaki with 36, Chi with 35, 39 on Zaps, as I said before. He had an excellent match. He was the MVP for sleepers, I thought. I think he tied for the top frag with Vanaki, 69 apiece. Nice. LZL with, I think that's 28, 25. Tough to say. God damn it, Matthew. 24 on Matt and 15 on Burn. He was doing his mid-hold thing, and it worked very well. On No-Go, 18 on Saf, 25 on Apple, 30 on Lou, 32 on Spoon for the MVP for sure. We didn't really, I don't think, gave out an MVP, but Spoon got it. Matthew with 29 sniping, and Deidre with 21 on the heavy. Back to the class that he had been playing previously last season, and showing his mettle at it again. So, big W there for No-Go. It really sucks to lose sleepers now. They're eliminated. You know, they had high hopes. Everybody had high hopes for them. Things just kind of went off the rails a little bit there to put them into this play-in situation. But God, they're such a good team, and they're such good guys, and they practice a lot, and they keep getting better and better. No-Go just like, I don't know, they had it figured out. They really had it figured out on Harrington here, which I wouldn't have expected. Obviously, you know Spoon is going to drop bombs, but I thought Sleepers was going to win this match. There was a lot of question marks about who would be playing what for No-Go, and I just thought that Sleepers we're going to pull it off. Oh, sorry. My voice. There's been so much casting and talking and yelling. It's just... and then it's dry as shit out, and the snow is falling. Anyways, tough season finish there for Sleepers, but they'll be back, and they'll be better than ever. I can guarantee that to you. These guys love the game. They work hard to get better at it day in and day out. They are everybody's favorite team. You know, everybody's rooting for Sleepers and Cheat and the boys. And they'll be back. Good season to them. Nothing to hang your head about at all. Getting to this point, like that could have easily been like one of the most epic comebacks you'll ever see in DOD. That just a little bit too little, too late. I mean, really, it was like not too little, but it was definitely too late. And No-Go gets to move on into the semifinals of Silver. So. Which is great. Everybody also loves No-Go. Like, that's the nice thing here is that, you know, at least it's another one of these teams that everybody loves and wants to see succeed. Because otherwise, I think it would have hurt everybody a lot more losing Sleepers if it had been a team that people were just like, fuck that team or whatever. So, let me pop open the... wow, would you look at that? The thing never fucking loaded. That's cute. Alright, I'm going to pop open the whatchamahoosit. Where the fuck? It's not even giving me an option for this? Are you serious? Why? Why? Why is this not giving me an option? There we go. Okay. I don't need the stats page open, though. I want this. But just look at that. Never showed up. So, let's look at the bracket here. Silver 8 playoffs. No-Go going on to play Prices right there. And we already had this matchup on the other side. Washed Up and Love Me Not. That's not. No matches were played to get to that point. Bad Gateway, my fucking dick. IBB. Fucking suck it. Okay. So, moving on to Gold now. Get back over there. Let me fit this to screen just to be sure. There was a little cutoff. I was like, it looks like it's fine. No. So, in Gold, what do we have here? We had Typical versus Over in match 1. 150 to 87. Typical got the job done. Over, missing No Name. That's tough, but Colin did fill in, and I believe top fragged. So, you know, pretty close to it. Definitely top fragged on Axis. They were missing Caffrey still. No idea what the story is with Caffrey this season. He played the first 3 matches, and then he was gone. Never came back. I saw him in Discord the other day leading into this match. I thought he's coming back. This is it. He's playing. Over is going to get their guy back, and they're going to make a deep playoff run because of it. And then he wasn't there. Chi filled in for him, or Raven, you know, technically was playing in that spot. But regardless, like, Chi filled in for Raven. This match was interesting. Typical. They were in control for the majority of, like, the first... Well, definitely the first half. I'll tell you that much. They were definitely in control for the first half for a lot of it. I believe they ended up with, yeah, at the end here, this half, this score here is a little bit, like, they capped out toward the end. But, so Over actually was hanging on to mid for the majority of this half. And they could have held out. With 5 minutes left, they just needed to hold out. And I don't know if there's like a miscommunication of that with Over. But they just started trying to push, like, wildly. Which we know is kind of a thing with Over. Like, they don't like to hold. They don't like to wait. They just go running around and they want to frag. And unfortunately for them in this case, that's why they lost here. Because if they had just got into, you know, Susie, Crack, Mid-House, Loft, you know, send one of the heavies mid-alley, whatever, and held mid for those last few minutes, they win. But they went and pushed for a cap out, and they got team aced. Typical got mid back, and with not much time left in the match, they capped out. Sort of a garbage time cap out scenario, but regardless, they got the job done. They didn't even need to cap out at that point. They were winning by enough that they just, if they had held mid for even another like 30 seconds, they had it locked down. My voice is really, really going on me. This is not a good sign for casting tonight and this weekend, and the conditions are not good for a voice. God. So on overside, Colin really went off. For sure. She did an excellent job, too, filling in. Don't let Colin's frag total fool you into thinking that he was the full story. Chi did great as well. Saka, of course, and Mata. Kum going bunker, not so many kills to get there. Jizzy Boy always on the third, doing the job. And then on typical side, team owner in particular, I don't know what his frag total was, 28 and 26, so 54. He was just holding mid-house, which you need somebody to do on this map. Like as I just was talking about with Over, if they had somebody just hold mid-house, they would have won. Team owner did it incredibly well for typical. Milo was being a nuisance in bunker and proning around and just they're making it so like they never knew where him and Manor were. And that's really, again, what you need to do on this map in bunker. Like, it's not about necessarily being like, I'm going to go push their spawn and kill 10 of them. That's not going to happen. Certainly not in gold, it's not going to happen, because teams aren't going to give you that opening. If you kill the first, 5, somebody is going to wait at every corner for you to come peek. So unless you're fucking cheating, it's not going to happen. And Milo and Manor executed perfectly what they needed to do. 27, 24, 21, and 22 were their 4 scores there. They were just all over the place. Overs heavies could not get into a rhythm, really. They had bunker control for a good chunk of Axis side, I think. But that was where typical was kind of like starting to flood mid. But Milo and Manor did an excellent job on the heavies there. Matt had himself quite a clip on Axis side. That was a big moment in the cast. A little bit of a tough half on the Grand here, but when fucking grinding this map, when you don't have mid, it's just like you're just running into a sniper's crosshair or like 2 cars crossfiring you. And Matt being the third kind of, is getting sent out to the wolves a little bit more often than necessarily the cars are. Actually he ended up carring this half, that's right, because that's what he had the clip with. I forgot. Frank was technically thirding. He had the piece with him. And of course, Nightmare top frag, because he's Nightmare. I'm not going to even spend much time on that. Unfortunate for Over, missing No Name. They're fucking stud for this last match, and to get eliminated. Colin did an excellent job filling in, though. Maybe No Name could have gotten more kills, and maybe he would have gotten them like in a I'm pushing and capping out way, whereas Colin is more of like he's going to hold spots, and you're never going to get by him, like a turret kind of thing, and No Name is like, I'm running straight forward, and, just like aimbotting everybody's head off. So maybe those frags coming in a different way would have been better for Over. I don't think so, though, because honestly, the way that this match went down, they needed to hold. Colin was kind of the perfect guy for them to have in his place with the way it worked out. They just needed to hold for 5 minutes, and they had just held for 10 minutes. So it was like, wow, they're going to fucking pull this off with 2 ringers, but it just fell apart on them. So unfortunately for Over, they are gone after not having their big boy Caffrey for the majority of the season. That's got to suck. I don't know what the story is. I think he moved and his computer broke or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but he was around for this week. I saw him in the Discord in their channel definitely this week. So I don't know if he just couldn't play. I don't know if maybe he was on his phone in Discord. But regardless, it sucks to see Over go. Again, they're always fun to watch. They have a very wild playstyle that is just, it's fun. It might not get them the win all the time. Usually No Name can pull them back within reach. No matter what's happening with the rest of the team, with everybody kind of running around, usually No Name is getting 80 kills and just shitting on everybody, and that's enough that Over's always in every game. It doesn't matter how they play. They just have so much firepower on that team, guys that can just out-aim and out-react, that usually they're in every match right up to the bitter end. And then either something goes wrong. You saw it in Rail Yard. Vertex pulls off a ninja cap with 20 seconds left. You saw it in our playoff match last season on Railroad 2 against them. They had a chance to get mid and they didn't get on it, and then by the time they got on it, got broken. All these just moments that are make or break. With that team, with most teams, if they had a moment like that, that would just break down the match, and they'd fall apart. But with Over, they're just such crazy fraggers that they're always in it, and that's gone now. I'm sure they'll be back next season, But good season over. Always a pleasure with those guys. We play against them a lot. We love them. And Typical moves on. Hashtag Typical worst to first. Don't think I forgot. Y'all must have. What the fuck? Why won't this let me click out of it? Thank you very much. So, let me open up the bracket. Just to take a second peeky. Where are we here? There it is. Boom. That's silver A. Let's go back to the gold side of things. So, Typical is playing against these scrubby dubbies on Thunder in a best of 3 this week. It's really, really painful for me that we have to play against Typical, because either I win, and then my very early prediction for them, I made that prediction day 1, before they had even played a match. I said hashtag Typical worst to first. So if we win, I kill that prediction, and then I don't look as smart. But if I lose, I lose, and that sucks too. I can't decide what I'd rather have here, to be fucking honest with you. Like, so it's a lose-lose, but it's also a win-win. Glass half full. Okay, anyways. Back to the recapping of the previous weeks. Let's find out, as if I didn't just spoil it by looking at the bracket, let's find out who they're playing, who won on the other side. Okay, I'm getting messages here. Let's see, where is this? So we had ICF play against PMC. Always, this match was fucking high stress. Let's just go with that. So, these two have played each other to a very close match once before already. So you could expect that heading into it. It was going to be a close match. Lennon was the pick. And I thought that was a crazy pick by PMC. You know, I was like, we just played them, and we beat them by like 300. They can't feel that comfortable on this map, you know? What do they know that I don't know here? It was blowing my mind. I was like, what do they know that I don't? Like, I feel like I understand the situation, but I must not. Like, there's something, are they going to change something? Like, do they have a plan to better execute this time? Did they see what the holes were in the situation on that map, and they fixed them now? I thought that was just, like, they had Railroad 2 as an option, and they just upset basically this team on Railroad 2 in the playoffs last season. So I was like, why aren't they picking Railroad 2? Icy Hot is basically Skull. You know, like, they just beat them on Railroad 2 in the playoffs to upset them and advance. Why aren't they picking Railroad 2? This is crazy. Turns out, whatever it was, they knew that I didn't know. And, I mean, you can see here, Icy Hot won 320 to 314, but that doesn't tell the whole story. So, first half. PMC wins by 44, right? Close. Jesse with the big dog, 36 there. Vertex, 31. Bees, 27. Candyman, 19. Candyman was ringing for William Sick Blackwell. Austin with 14. No one to really kill along. Matt Rogers with 28. Corey on the other side, CK, 30. 9-21, Element 23, Paul with 31, top frag tie with PB at 31, and Krog with 13. So, Axis side, Lennon. It's Allied-sided, you know? It's not as Allied-sided, though, anymore. This version of Lennon is a lot more even. You have more spots to hold your first flag. It's not just a fucking tunnel of grenades that you're all being funneled into from your spawn. For all the people who complained about Lennon B2, I hope that you see now why this is much better. I get it. You just want to go spawn camp on Allied side out of Blue Room. That's going to suck for you on your Axis side, though. You understand? You can still do it. You just have to hit some crazier shots, and you have to deal with, like, 3 extra angles. It's better for the gameplay. Trust me. Notice that the Lennon matches on this version of Lennon have actually been entertaining and not just like, well, Ally's going to win by 300, Ally's going to win by 300. If the team that won their Allied side by 300 can hold, you know, their Axis side to like a 290-point loss, then they win. That's stupid. Lennon was a stupid one-sided map in the way that Harrington's because people have learned to throw the nades that it used to be like only a handful of people were throwing out I'm not going to get into Harrington. You know I'll never stop. But anyways, so 44-point win there. So you're thinking PMC won their Axis half. Like, they should probably win their Allied side. Usually teams do win their allied side, so if you win your Axis side, you're in great shape. Obviously, we already know what the score was, but heading over to the allied side, so Icy Hot. Just going to do the frags first. 33 on Element, 30 on PB, 25 on CK, 23 on Crawd, 22 on Paul, 20 on Tony. And on Icy Hot's side, 43 on Vertex, 32 on Mitch, getting to Car. Full-on straight-up rifle, no third this time for him. 28 on Jesse, top fragger. MVP for sure this match, which we'll get into. And where was I? Oh, Austin, 23 again, sniping long. There's not so many kills to get in these scenarios all the time. And Austin is a good Lennon sniper. He just didn't, there was not much for him to kill. Still going 23 and 21 on Axis side is more than enough. Obviously, if you looked at my screenshots from the Lennon match, I went like 18 and something on Axis, like 18 and 11 or something like that. Like, there's just nobody left for me to kill. And Candyman with 15. So those are the frags. 170 to 120. Icy Hot wins, right? Ha! What happened? Well, I'll tell you this. PMC was winning up until 0.01 seconds left in the match. If you weren't there for this, there's a chance that I can actually just pull this up. I might do that, because I think that'd be fun. And I'm sorry to PMC, because I know that this is going to be painful if you're watching this right now. But this is something that, my voice hurts really bad right now. And if I can just let this tell the story, that's probably a good thing. So I'm going to do that and try to spare my voice just a little bit longer. Let's just do this. There it is. 1 minute and 45 seconds left. I'm sure I'll mention the score. To this half. Yep. Modgers in lower red. About a minute and a half left. Icy Hot looking like they're getting ready for one last push here. Vertex finds a frag on PB. Austin with 1 on 9. They're going to need to get Austin up to swing to try to get Paul out of there. Now, let me tell you. So, at this point, I was like, I think it was with like 6 minutes left. I was like, Icy Hot needs to, the amount that they were down, I was like, they need to hold the entire map for basically the whole rest of this half. And then they need to cap out as well, like with under 30 seconds left in order for them to win. I said that, I think it was like 6 or 7 minutes left. I had done the math, looking at how many ticks they were getting. They were getting 5. And they were down by 46. At that point, it was still like tied for the half. So the point total from the first half was like still spot on. You can see there, 44. It's up on the screen. So, at this point, they've done that up till minute 30 left. Now what happens? Or they're going to have to overwhelm him. Paul finds, oh, what a nade by Crawd. 3 down so fast on Icy Hot. Big nade. Paul still in this cage. Austin is pushed up back cave. Going to try to hang on to that mid flag. Everybody's heading towards Zaps to get that mid flag back. Track check,
just
watch.
Respawn. Jesse, big job in front of him here in lower red. I think he's trying to execute a ninja cap. He's found one. Are they still lurking here? They've got mid back. They are lurking there. And B's going to have to get this mid flag. You can hear him running around underneath. He's
1 minute left.
On by. They got long back.
They got long.
That might ice it.
PMC gets long back.
That might ice it.
Yeah, that's it.
That 45-point victory first half now down
44.
to 39 points. They need a full cap. And then some. They need a full cap, and if there's another tick goes off, a full cap won't do it. Vertex putting the team on his back here, finds 2. CK still alive somewhere. Is down now to B's.
25 seconds.
25
Here's
seconds
Paul
left.
at long. And I'm like, that's it. They can't get by him here in time.
PMC has done a great job hanging on here.
And go cap out.
Full cap would be a 1-point win for Icy Hot if they get this long right now. They have to get long and cap out.
10 seconds
2 seconds. Paul, though, executes. No scope. He does get it. They got long. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They did it. They did it. They win by 5 points in the end. Icy Hot with the composure right up to the bitter end.
Sucks.
Take the win by a last-second cap out as time expires.
As you can see, the Twitch chat going off.
Unbelievable.
I wish when I was downloading these videos, the hell spoilers. Oh, Modgers came in there. I didn't realize that Matt came in here and said, fuck. I didn't even notice that. That's hilarious. Matt comes in and says, fuck. Everybody's like, spoilers. William says, nice try, Matt. Nice yacht. Great season, boys. And then this happens, and everybody's like, wait, what? They thought that they had lost because Matt came in there, which is hilarious. I didn't notice that at the time. So, anyways, that's how it all went down. Really, I mean, I feel for PMC. I really, really do. We lost a match like that this season to T3 on Rail Yard. It's fucking tough having that happen at the last possible fucking second, you know? Like, literally, so many factors. There's so many things that you think about after that. Like, well, if we had held this for an extra fucking 30 seconds, we win. If we had held this for an extra 30, you know, if I didn't push for that cap out a little bit too soon, like maybe we could have held this for a little longer. It's tough. But I said it last week on the DODCAST that I think a big advantage for Icy Hot was how many close, like, butthole clenching matches they played in. And it kept getting better. They started off, they lost to, I think it was PMC. They lost to PMC, ironically. The first close match by like 4. Then they lose to Typical by like 9. Or no, I think it was like the other way around. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. They lost a really close one, then they lost a slightly closer one. And then against us, they were like that close to fucking beating us on Solitude. And then on Rail Yard, they actually win a close one. They cap out with 20 seconds left to win. And it's like it just kept going more and more in the other direction. They're very used to playing these butthole clenchers, and playoff DOD is going to be a butthole clencher all the time. And I felt like that was going to give them a little bit more of an advantage mentally, where they wouldn't panic if it got to these like last 30 seconds. You see it, like anybody can panic in those situations. You saw it with Thunder. We panicked when all of a sudden we were getting pushed back to our last flag, and we realized like if we give up a cap out, we lose. People start to panic. Icy Out didn't panic. At least not all of them did. Because Jesse still had the wherewithal to find himself anywhere near that first flag as time was about to expire, and they got long to go get it. And Casey, I know, was in upper apps too. Like, they had 2 guys about to cap out. At very least, they had 2 people who were still composed enough to be going for that cap out. Whoever was directing traffic, getting Mitch and them at long, and then they were in apartments, and they were through Connector, and all those close matches paid off hugely for Icy Hot in the end, and that's one of the craziest matches I've ever watched. Maybe the craziest match I've ever casted, although DGF versus HSB in the TPG Invite finals, where HSB won by a last second cap out, literally as time expires. I think it was J-Rod, like, jumps out of jump window on Anzio and caps out, and I still thought DGF won. Like I was saying up and, at that point, like, oh, and DGF is your champions, like, and then it's like, wait, what? No, they're not. They lost. They just lost to that cap out. That was crazy. This was a crazy match. Good season of PMC. Finalists from last season, they're like the perennial underdog favorites, like they're always battling back and finding ways to win and get through. You can't even blame this on the Lennon pick. They did everything right. They did everything right. When it came down to it, Icy Hot just executed better in that last fucking 30 seconds. They held out for so long to avoid that cap out. Paul was sitting in the cage, hitting every shot that came his way. Everybody was doing things right. They were doing their job. Everyone on PMC, everyone played well and did their jobs. And in the end, it was just that fucking little bit. Icy Hot's played so many of these close matches. They knew exactly what to do when it got to this point, and they did it. And that was crazy. So, I mean, I feel bad for PMC. I really do. Like, I feel for them. Those matches suck to fucking lose. And everybody else is like, wow, that was crazy. That was so fun. And later on, you get that perspective on it once it's been a little bit of time and the sting goes away. But, man, at the time, it just stings for a while. It sucks. And then to have it be the playoffs and eliminate it, we lost a 3-point match to get eliminated last season by T3 on Railroad 2, and it was the same kind of thing. It wasn't a last-second cap-out, but it was like, we were pushing to cap out, and we got killed at the last flag as time was expiring. Like, it was that close kind of thing. So, I totally feel for them. I know how it feels. Great season to them. Hopefully they'll be back. I don't know. I know that's tough, and is the kind of thing that can kill a team, but I hope they don't. With talk of there potentially being a 3rd division next season, I know that PMC was was hoping that there would be a third division this season to play in. And yeah, just I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what goes on with PMC. But Icy Hot moves on in the second semifinal now. Where is? Let me set that up. Bring up the fucking bracket. I don't know if I was supposed to mention that there might be a middle division next season, but you know, whatever. Really? Now it's not going to give me an option to pick that window? Are you shitting in my asshole? Did I close it? The fuck? Come on. Really? How is this possible? There it is. I just had to go. Unreal. Okay, so obviously we see here T3 versus ICF in a best of 3. Map-wise, I'll get into that. Anyways, I can get into that right now, but we're not gonna. We're gonna go Silver B, Silver A, Gold. How much time has this been? I said I was gonna keep it short. Oh, we're already at an hour. I just had to fucking talk, didn't I? I just had to start talking. My voice is gonna suffer dearly for this. So, anyways, whatever. We don't have to do an interview here. Let's just get right into it. Silver B, I don't know what the maps are for this. This is tough. Fast Loris, I think, are the favorites. I'd like to see CIS win because that would be such a crazy story. I don't know what the map pool is looking like, and I don't know how deep CIS's map pool is. I think they were just learning some of the maps out there in this season. I think it's going to be tough to overcome that. They have a lot of firepower if they've got all their players. Firo, however you pronounce that. Riley Staffer, Hong Kong Mafia, Azilla, Shika, PKL. You know, like they have plenty of firepower across the board. Fast Loris has so much experience. I think that any one of those players probably has played, on Fast Loris, any one of them has probably played more playoff matches in DOD 1.3. They have to have, than all of CIS combined, because CIS just started playing 1.3. You know, like that's not some shocking fact. So, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard for me to pick CIS here, no matter what the maps are. Really doesn't matter. I think Fast Loris is gonna be able to take this, but I think CIS will win a map, and I think they'll keep another map close. And I'm kind of hoping it's the third map, because I would love to see this go like Fast Loris. They take a commanding lead. It looks like it's just gonna be a clean sweep, and then CIS comes out. They win map 2. Oh my God, we're going to a fucking sudden death fucking game 3 here, and then it's super duper close, and everyone's asshole is just like fucking squeezing. And then it explodes because somebody wins, which will probably be Fast Loris. I wish I knew the maps here. I don't have a list of the maps, so I can't really get too in-depth into it. Sniper battle of Hong Kong versus Stealth is going to be crazy. Riley Staffer is a god. It's going to be tough for anyone to match up with him. Whatever class he's playing, he plays every fucking class besides Sniper. But if he wanted to snipe, I bet he could. With no problem, in fact, because sniping is the easiest class in the game, just to pick up off the ground and do shit with it. So I'm sure he'd be perfectly fucking fine. But yeah, you know, I just, firepower be damned. I don't know that they have the experience to do it. Now, that firepower could be enough to just overwhelm. However, Fast Loris also has stealth and also has, you know, Red Dog and Stamp have, the last few weeks, been dropping like 70 kills apiece, heavying. Twist on the third has been playing for like 20 years, and that's what you need out of a third. You need smart plays, and you need, I mean, it's really like the intricate parts of the game is where the third comes into play, where it's like, we need a clutch nade break. We need somebody to just hold this spot because everybody's just died. We need somebody just to be prepared for when things get sticky, and Twist is somebody who can do that. And Stealth is as explosive a sniper as there is, and Laura is a streaky player, which is something you need a lot of times in these kind of matchups where it's like, you need somebody who can just go off and get like 4 kills randomly. Don't even worry about what your score is. Like, if you can break through once or twice in a match and get your team a cap out in a playoff scenario, that's way more important than being able to say, like, well, I went 35-10. Like, who fucking cares? Did you do anything that, like, gained your team points? Like, tangibly? And that's the kind of thing that's a player like Laura can do, where, I mean, she can just go off and go on like a fast 4 kill streak to cap out. And of course, Hey Hi is just rock solid. And no matter what, like, he'll be rifling, he'll be heavying, whatever, he can car bar, he'll get 60 plus kills every time, like clockwork. You know that for a fact. You don't even have to ask. He will. He just did it with COVID and feeling like terrible. So, I think that's the difference maker, is just the experience level for Fast Loras. But I wouldn't be that surprised if CIS managed to pull it off. I really wouldn't, because they keep getting better and better. We don't even know what their max potential is yet. They're just still improving week to week to week. Could they hit a point right here where something really like clicked for them and they started to get it? I can tell you, as somebody who went from like, being a main player for like the first few years I played DOD, to then when I like actually started to get good, there's just a moment where all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's not something you can explain. You just hit a point where all of a sudden it's like, oh, like if I do this, this works, and if I do this, this works, and like these little tricks that you see other people do when you start to pick up. For me, it was making movies really a lot of the time. I'm watching Dorito and Kellen and Patton and all these guys and teammates demos, and I was working on a Dice team movie. I had all of Dice's demos and all this shit. Roy Amazing. Like, I learned, a lot of the ways that I snipe came from watching like Nick Patton, Roy Amazing, Luke North, those kind of guys. Like, using a sniper as an offensive weapon. These are the kind of things you pick up. And I wish there was like a database of demos. Not HLTVs. Those really won't tell you as much. I mean, you can see things about like, the more of the heady stuff in the game, like decision making, but you're not going to see the mechanics. And that's the mechanical part of it, is where you really hit that talent level and start to see that max out. And you need a POV demo for that. I wish we had, like, man, my old computer, I had demos from, you would be baffled by how many demos I had and how many different players' demos I had. Just every demo they ever recorded, whether it was like Brian and Blearg and Dice and Vasily and everybody on Thunder and Baloo and Polak and, every movie that I ever made, I saved the demos. And I had those demos still sitting around. Most of Mutiny 2, that movie exists basically because I was like, Steve, I got a bunch of these demos, and I don't think I'm going to use them. I'm just going to send them to you, and if you want to do something with them, have at it. And then Mutiny 2 happened. A lot of that movie just came from me having all these fucking demos of players. So if anybody out there has a bunch of these demos laying around, I think we should try to get some kind of database together, because that would be sweet. And that'd be good for the players that are trying to learn and get better still, and have just started, because that's how I learned. And it'd be cool if we could give that as a tool for the players that are trying to learn now. But anyways, I'm saying Fast Loras, 2-1. Don't know the maps, so I can't really get into the particulars of that. That's the finals match. Getting into the Silver A semifinals. So tonight we have Washed Up versus Love Me Not. This is going to be a crazy series. Getting to the team list here. Actually, first I'm going to look at, they played each other for sure. They only played each other once, which is rare given how many matches got played. Washed Up won on Harrington, 235 to 222. I believe they're playing Thunder for one thing. Shit, I forget what the other maps they're playing are. Do I have a list of that anywhere, maybe? Does it? Okay. Thunder. All I'm seeing is Thunder. Thunder. I'm not seeing anything about the rest of the maps they're playing, so I have no idea. Oh! Lenin. Thunder 2, Lenin. Okay, so Thunder 2 and Lenin. Yeah, that's all I got for you. Thunder 2 and Lenin. Anyways, they played on Harrington. I'm not sure if they're set to play Harrington again. I don't think Love Me Not would necessarily veto that, because why would you? You only lost by 13. You're not feeling outmatched on it, so I'm not sure. I wish I knew the third map. I really do, but I don't. You figure for Love Me Now, it's going to be, of course, Colin, Devin, low carb. PKL is their like designated ringer guy, who's a pretty solid heavy. Coffee and Nicholson, I think that's their 6. And for Washed Up, who again is a really fun team to watch, and has newer players that you just keep seeing getting better, which I love. Bullet Fodder, Bromley, Secretly, Arachnid, Defrag, War Within. Most likely there's 6. God, my fucking voice, man. It's killing me. Okay. So, Thunder 2. Get into that. That's Washed Up's pick. I almost said Spec. I've been playing this game for far too long. So, you know, I mean, I see why Washed Up picked Thunder 2. They've got the players that can make that map a little bit of a living hell for Love Me Not. Arachnid, of course, sniping. That matchup, the sniper matchup, definitely goes in favor of Washed Up. You know, no offense to Nicholson, but Arachnid, yeah, I've been saying it all season that I think he's probably the best sniper in Silver. He's certainly one of the top 2 or 3. You know, I mean, you can make an argument for a few other guys, of course, like Recoil and stuff, and Hong Kong Mafia and Stealth. But I think that favors them. However, you look at Colin and Devin up against any 2 players off of Washed Up, and you got to take Colin and Devin there. They're the top 2, overall players in Silver for the season by any measure you use. Man, Thunder 2 is not so much about skill, though, as it is about intelligence level and not doing stupid things, and knowing when to hold, knowing when to push. Obviously, skill level always comes into play in the game, but you need these things in particular on Thunder. Colin is really good on Thunder. I'm not sure what Devin is going to play. Maybe they'll have him snipe to try to like wash out Arachnid and get them some room in middle. That might be a good idea. Or have low carb snipe. Low carb has been a sniper before. I think Nicholson can play any other class pretty well. I think you just want to, Nicholson hasn't played enough yet to really get to that point to be able to make it frustrating for Arachnid the way you have to in this matchup. If I'm Love Me Not, I'm like, Nicholson, you're going to third, or Nicholson, you're going to heavy. Just do whatever you can. We're going to have Brett or Devin snipe. And, I guess maybe not third because Coffee will third, but he light, so you could pick up the third rifle anyways. I think Nicholson would be better served going forward here to third or heavy and kind of play a passive role and match up with the opposing team's, passive heavy, because most teams have a passive heavy. The Buds, the Spec Ops, the Tony Comptons, Brian Emo now, behind Jules. You got to have that one heavy who will hold and one heavy who can kind of take the reins and go push and frag. That's what I would do if I'm Love Me Not. I don't know if they will. But I'd want to put some firepower into that sniper class that like in a head-to-head aim duel and reaction time duel up against Arachnid will win that battle at least, some of the time, half the time, say. Because otherwise he's going to make your life a living hell in mid, and you're never going to get mid, and then you lose. I'm going to assume that they're not doing that, though, because this is just me saying that. So I'm going to take Washed Up to win here. But if Love Me Not puts somebody else on the sniper rifle, like a Devin, who can go out and make shit tough on Arachnid, and then you have Colin, who's already really, really good at rifling Thunder. I think the bunker matchup will be a little bit of in favor of Washed Up, War Within, and Bullet. I think we'll probably win that bunker battle more often than not. Again, assuming that Devin is sniping in that case. So, man, I don't know. Like, it's tough. It's tough. Love Me Not has some serious firepower on it. But Washed Up has Secretly and Arachnid, who are seriously good, too, and can match up with those guys in Devin and Colin. And War Within on the heavy has been dropping a lot of bombs. And if Devin is heavying, like, yeah, that's good for bunker, but you're also kind of isolated. There's only so much you can do. Like, obviously, you can push and stuff at that point, and you can find frags elsewhere, but I don't know. To me, that's what I would do if I was running the team. I'd be like, we need to put Devin somewhere in the middle. And in particular, matching up against Arachnid, who's a fucking beast, I think it might stand to reason. Devin on the sniper might be a good idea. So, fuck, man. I mean, Washed Up picked this map. There's obviously something they like about it. It's probably a lot of what I'm saying right now. I'm going to take Washed Up on Thunder. Going into Lennon, I mean, that's a pure firepower map. And we've seen Washed Up play well on Lennon. They definitely know how to play it. War Within look great in apartments. Being the pushing guy, Bullet will hold without question. Arachnid on long, he'll do his job and be able to get pushed up and use that aim and reaction time to get frags at the spawns. And then, of course, secretly and defrag on the rifles are bosses. But with the way the pace of a map like Lennon and the mechanics of a Colin and a Devin and a Brett, you know, we all make fun of Brett for playing like a dickhead sometimes, but if he's not playing like a dickhead, he is still able to push and get kills. He just chooses to play like a fucking dickhead to be a troll, because he's a troll. Sorry, Brett, you are. You know it. It's on purpose. It's intentional. But when he's not just trolling and playing like that, he can run around with a car and a Garand or a bar and be getting 60 kills in a match. I think that map very much favors Love Me Not in the end. Pushing it to a map 3, that I don't know what the situation is. If it's Harrington, Washed Up's got the upper hand. They've already beat him on Harrington. And that was when Love Me Not had Hambuga on the sniper, who was another one of the top 4 or 5 snipers. Maybe even top 3 snipers, you could argue. Certainly by the stats. Man, I have no idea, though. It might not be Harrington. Maybe Love Me Not vetoed Harrington. Could be Anzio. Could be Railroad 2. Man, I don't know. Who do I take? This is tough, man. This is tough. I really have no idea. It's a very even matchup. You know, Love Me Not is a little top heavy, and Washed Up is just through and through thick boys that are great at the game. God damn, man. I don't know. This is where it helps to have a second person so I can, you know, pass it over to them and they can make their pick and maybe they'll make a point that I'll then be like, all right, maybe you're right that that's the way it's going to go. But I don't have that because I'm an idiot this week. And I'm going to go with Love Me Not. I think that Devin and Colin, you know, like when it comes down to push comes to shove, whatever, they'll go off like when their team needs them to. And the rest of their players, if they can just slide into their roles and do their jobs, you know, you got PKL as their 6th. Coffee's always going to do his job, you know, lighting, thirding, whatever you want to call it. They've been practicing. I know Washed Up is always practicing too, so that's kind of a wash. Oh, man, I don't know. It's like I don't want to pick against Washed Up because they are so well prepared and they've looked so good. And this could very easily, I mean, I could see them sweep this. They could come out on Thunder and maybe Love Me Not, you know, is still having Devin heavy and he just gets locked out through bunker and the sniper battle goes heavily in favor of Washed Up and mid is theirs the whole time. And then on Lennon, you know, Love Me Not can get tilted. That's their biggest thing is mental. They get tilted and things can go south. And if their other 4 players after Devin and Colin aren't just doing their jobs, like they don't need to do more than that. You got the 2 best players in the league. Just do your jobs. Don't worry about your score. Go 15-15 if you have to. Just make space for Devin and Colin. Because those guys will for sure go get 100 kills if they are put in the right spots. And they don't have to worry about like getting shot in the back. And they have good communication. Crisp, timely communication. That's the difference. You got to get those guys, you know, they're the Toxinator and Jules. Like half the time that I'm playing DOD, I'm worried about trying to get Jared and Jules into spots where they can get the impact frags. And I've been that guy on teams before where I'm the guy who's getting put into spots where I can get the impact frags. That's really more important than anything else. Your role players are trying to drive map control forward so that your big dogs can get up there and push for a cap out, get the 3, 4, 5Ks, etc., etc. And, you know, Love Me Not can't get tilted, man, because Washed Up is going to play to tilt those guys. And Love Me Not can fall into that trap, for sure. I can tell you that. They're like me, cranked up to 11 when it comes to, like, getting mad in game and starting raging. You know, I'm like a 9 on that scale. They're fucking 11. And if that happens, it's it. That's a wrap. Washed Up will win right then and there. As soon as Love Me Not falls into that trap, it's over. They have to stay composed, and they have to keep communicating quickly and clearly. I'm going to assume that they recognize that this is the playoffs, the semis, a best of 3. They have time. They're not going to tilt like that, and that they're going to win. But, I mean, like I said, they can't fall into that trap. And they have to make some adjustments class-wise on Thunder in particular. The sniper battle isn't going to be as big a deal on Lennon. You don't even need a sniper on Lennon, honestly. Like, you can just like kind of prone around and shit on long with fucking 2 lights. Just let them get long and kill them when they push. Or don't even go long. Have 1 heavy sit back and watch it when you think they're pushing. Whatever. There's so many ways to play long that you don't need a sniper. But on Thunder, you need a sniper, and you need a sniper that can lock out the opposing sniper. Because if he gets comfortable, you're in a world of hurt. So that's my concern for Love Me Not on Thunder. But I think that I think they'll win in the end. I do. Unless they get tilted, they can afford it. Anyways, I'm spending way too much time on everything. This is the other part about having a second guy that they'll keep me on task. Price is Right versus No Go. I have 0 idea what any of the maps are, which sucks because I can't even get into that portion of it. But for Price is Right, the lineup would probably be Corey, Caleb, Recoil, Allen, Taylor, and Dillard. They have a fucking stacked lineup. Dillard is again another one of these like top 4 or 5 players in silver. Allen, it keeps getting better and better. Taylor is a gold player, like he's a gold player and a good gold player. And on top of that, he's helping his heavy partner get better and better. Corey Price, like I was talking about with streaky players earlier, where he can just go off and kill your whole team. Even when he's having a bad day, that's what you have to worry about. Like, he can go 15 and 30, but guess what? Like, 7 of those 15 kills are going to come in 1 streak, and that's a cap out. And they have that mix. Caleb was arguably the MVP of their last match, where he was against Love Me Not. He got all the cap outs. If not for Caleb, Love Me Not wins that match. Doesn't matter what a score was. I have no idea. Who cares? It probably wasn't good. I think it was like 15-something, 15-20, whatever, both halves. He capped out 3 times. And you need somebody like that. You need somebody who can do that to succeed in this game. You can't just have 6 fraggers running around aimlessly looking to kill, because it's not a pub. It's not a 12-man. And Price is Right is a team that is built to win. They've got all the right guys in all the right spots. Ow, I just like scratched my fucking thumb on the broken part. Look at this shit. My leg is broken as fuck, and that is sharp, and I just scratched the shit out of myself on it. God damn it. Anyways, so they're playing against No-Go. No-Go looked great last week against Sleepers. They looked great until the last 8 minutes where they fell apart, and they just couldn't do anything. And so they've shown that they are very capable of looking great across the board and just dominating a team. And they're going to need that side of them to be here this week. They will be well prepared for this. They are active. They have Tony and J-Rod instructing them in the ways of the game and how to prepare for any given map and what might be the best ideas for them. I assume their lineup will be the same as last week. Matthew, Deidro, Spoon, Saf, Apple, Louie. No idea who will snipe on any given map or any class. Deidro can rifle, he can snipe, he can heavy. Matthew can rifle, he can snipe, he can heavy. Greg can rifle, snipe, and heavy. He's probably going to heavy, though, because you can make an argument he's the best heavy in silver. He's getting like 47 kills a half with a bar in the last 5 weeks. So they have, their rifle team is a good mix as well, with Apple and Louie, and then if Matthew's on the third. And Apple's got like the best support system in the world, I saw in Twitch chat. He had his girlfriend in there, his wife, and a bunch of their friends were in there cheering for him, which was awesome. I'd love to say that No-Go is like 100% going to win this. I would love that because I love No-Go. Everybody loves No-Go. I think that this is going to be a tough fucking matchup no matter what the maps are. And hopefully No-Go is prepared and they're in a situation where they can at least push this to 3 maps. I don't know what the maps are, so I have no idea. I gotta suspect... What realistically are we looking at playing here? I mean, Railroad 2, right? Unless No-Go vetoed it, but you got to figure a map like that, Price is Right would like to play. Corey is great going long. Caleb is great going train, and we just, as I just talked about, can work magic from over there. It's a good map for snipers, recoil. Taylor and Allen get to play together on a route there. I just think all around Railroad is a map that's good for them. Or No-Go vetoed it. I don't know. I think Price is Right is going to win overall. Let me just say that. There's a chance that if it's the right map, No-Go could pull off a win. I don't know what that right map is. It's probably not Lennon, because Taylor and Allen will be great on Lennon. And Dillard, of course. Maybe. No, it's probably not Anzio. I don't think it's Anzio. Unless No-Go comes out with something a little bit, like throws a different look at them and do something a little more intricate with their strategy. Then maybe they could pull it off on Anzio with their having the right firepower in the right places. Realistically, that's still tough. Taylor's excellent at Anzio. Dillard is excellent at carring double windows on Anzio. It's going to be tough to match up with that no matter what. Thunder, I don't know. Like, I don't think No-Go particularly likes playing Thunder. Louis sniped the shit out of it. I know. Did they play? They definitely played each other, but when? What happened? No-Go, No-Go, No-Go. Let me not. No-Go. Price is Right. Thunder. No-Go lost by 30. That's not bad. That's the match that Louis sniped it. This was a close match. They might want to play Thunder. That's a map I think they have a chance to win. I remember that was a map where they just made some mistakes holding mid. And if not for that, they could have won that match. So hopefully they pick Thunder, because I give them a chance on Thunder for sure. Solitude, they can't play, obviously. It's not in the rotation. Anzio, they did beat Love Me Not on. That bodes well. I know that there were some issues with Love Me Not 6th in that, where he went AFK or something. They still smoked him pretty handily. So maybe on Anzio they got something to offer there. But, it's just Price is Right is a ridiculous team. Price is Right could beat teams in gold. They have the perfect roster construct with the way that all their players play and their roles and executing those roles. You got to take Price is Right here. There's just no two ways about it. You got to take Price is Right. And everybody loves No-Go. I'm sorry, but you got to take Price is Right. But I would love to see No-Go pull this shit off. That'd be such a cool story. I don't think Price is Right would even be all that mad if that happened, because everybody loves No-Go that much. That would be impressive that No-Go came out so prepared that they pulled off the upset. But you got to take Price is Right. They're the best team there. And yeah, it's just going to be overwhelming on a lot of the maps. They're going to be fully prepared for pretty much anything. So yeah, Price is Right. I think going through, by my predictions, Price is Right, Love Me Not for the finals. Moving on to gold. Unfortunately, Thunder versus Typical, not going to say a whole lot about. It is what it is. We played them twice this season in close matches. It's a fun match to play against them. I think the matchups roster-wise are really, really nice. Like Manor Milo versus the Ryans, me and Nightmare, Tox and J-Rod, and Brian versus, Colin, and Frank and Matt, or Scotty before, obviously. Unfortunately, Scotty can't play here, but Die Life being the replacement there. Maps are going to be, what was it? Anzio, Harrington, and Railroad 2. Yeah, of course. Anzio, Harrington, Railroad 2. I don't think that's the order. Who picked what? There's the veto. Then we picked Anzio. I think it's Anzio, Harrington, Railroad 2 is the order. Something like that. Or it's Railroad 2, Harrington. Whatever. Anyways, good luck, have fun with that. I'm not going to dwell on that too much because I need to make up some of the time I've spent yapping. So the last one to do here, T3 versus Icy Hot. They have most certainly played each other, I can tell you that much. Where was it, though? Forget what map they played each other on. Where was it? T3, Icy Hot, Shamil. That was a rough one for Icy Hot. T3 smoked them on Shamil. Did they play each other again? No, they did not. So, anyways, let's look at the rosters. You got Till, PDX, Leo, Patton, Bud, Booten, for sure. And Icy Hot, they have their set 6-2. Matthew, as in Modgers, not Matthew of No-Go fame. Modgers, Jasili, Kanga, Jesse, Big Salsa, whatever you want to call them. Bees, Vertex, Sick, and Austin. Map-wise, I think the maps are like Lennon, Harrington, and Anzio. I want to say Lennon, Harrington, Anzio. Lennon, I think Iceot can win. I do. I think Iceot can win on Lennon. T3 can definitely win on... I mean, T3 can win on anything. They can be frustrating on Lennon too, but Iceot look really good on Lennon. They seem to have their shit down pat. Austin can match up with Patton and just kind of keep them locked down over there. If you can take Patton out of the game, that does open up a big avenue for your team, because he's a very important player on the way the T3 plays. And if you're Iceot on long of Lennon, you just want to kind of keep those guys out of the game. It's Till on one half, it's Leo on another half. Just try to isolate them. Don't worry about using long as a way to push. I mean, unless they like start flooding it and you can kill half their team over there, then yeah. But overall, like, you want to kind of isolate them. I don't need to tell Iceot to play this fucking map. And then on Well, it's like Vertex and Sick versus Booten and PDX probably, or shit, I don't know, because they have like PDX rifles sometimes here. Booten Carbard on Lennon the last time they played it and did really well. Bud will definitely be having both halves, but you might see PDX with an STG, and then PDX with a Garand. PDX will just sit in upper red with a Garand. Good luck fucking hitting him. Never gonna happen. You can't hit him. And if you think you can elbow peek him, good luck, because he just shot the ghost of your elbow. It's a spot with angles that do not favor the low ping player there at all. Just plain and simple. And he takes full advantage of that. And it's impossible to get him the fuck out of there. And then when they are clicking on all cylinders and pushing, they have so much firepower. Like, you're just back against the wall. And then if they prone dive for the flag, good luck hitting them before it's at the point where their dead bodies will then cap the flag. It will. That ping comes into advantage there for sure on the prone dive, because you'll kill them and they'll be 5 feet behind the flag. But because there's extra few milliseconds, that dead body is still registering the cap. It's unfortunate. So shoot a little bit sooner. When you don't wait until the last second. Don't hold an angle where you can like see just the flag and you're like, I'm fast enough to hit them as soon as they get to that corner. You may be, but their dead body's going an extra few feet. Vertex is obviously the X factor here. He can hold down these guys. He's the kind of player who is very gifted mechanically and intellectually in the game, where he can kind of hold down the PDXs and the Leos and isolate them out, kind of keep them from being a huge difference maker. I think Iceot's probably going to have a good game plan for Lennon, and I'm going to take Iceot on Lennon. Then it was Anzio and Harrington. Harrington, I don't know the order. Harrington, I'm going to take T3. That's their map. That's their home stomping grounds. They understand playing Harrington in the way that they play it very well. They play it in a very weird way. It's almost like it's a pub. They're just rotating all over the map. It's kind of like wherever they feel like going, they're going. And it works. They're flooding mid, and then all of a sudden they're flooding long, and then all of a sudden they're flooding mountain, and you'll like run into a spot and there's nobody there, and then the next time you run there, they're all there. Like, they play it very loosely, and it works for them in a lot of ways. Bud and PDX having Harrington, very near impossible to play against. Like, good luck ever having mountain. And then Nick in middle with Leo and Booten. Realistically, they usually have at least 3 guys in mid. Usually it's more like 4. And then there's a 5th at ladder or upper connector. Like, they understand the importance of this map flowing through middle. And Nick, one of the best snipers on Harrington, always been that way. Very tough to play against. Austin's great at Harrington too. It's going to be a tough matchup for him. Vertex in middle is the X factor there. Again, he's got great nades in middle. Very comfortable taking the peaks at top of mid. I'm not going to say scroll wheeling, but he is tough to hit at top of mid for sure when he's crouch tapping around the corner. But on the same token, Leo is maybe even harder to hit when he's doing his wide sprint strafe, where it's like his first goal is to make you miss. He's not worried about shooting first. He's just worried about making you miss first, and it's working. It works every time. You know, like he takes that wide peek when you're expecting somebody to elbow peek top mid, like most people do. And so you're shooting as soon as you see him going, like expecting him to stop at that spot, but he's still going. He uses that to his advantage very, very well. He's very clever with when he does that. You know, on the other side, you have PDX who will, like, you know, jump peek like I do. And he does the opposite. He wide peeks, and it's tough. Even with a sniper rifle. As a sniper, you're holding, you know, unless you just killed the sniper, you're holding expecting a sniper to, you know, like, slowly swing out. So, like, your crosshair's here, and they're coming out here. You're expecting them to stop. But when it's Leo, he's going, whoop! And so you're shooting when they get here, but he's not stopped. He's still going this way. And God knows where the hitbox is, because he's got an extra 80 milliseconds on his ping. So, you might think you shot him. You definitely didn't. Not where his hitbox actually is. And that's tough to play against. T3 is excellent at Harrington. I got to give them Harrington. Now, Anzio, I'm a little less sure about, to be honest with you. T3 is great at Anzio for sure, and ICO's great at Anzio. I don't really know who I favor there off the top of my head. Like, looking at it, Vertex and double windows. Of course. Great double windows car. The heavy team and Matt and Jesse, great chemistry. They understand how to play with each other. Or if they have B, you know, because they swap classes like that between their heavies and the third, they don't really have a set 2 heavies and 1 third. Like B's heavy some maps, any third some maps. Jesse third some maps, Matt third some maps. Not sure. I imagine that they give B's a rifle on Anzio, which is a good idea because the rifles kind of are the X factor on Anzio for the most part. You know, Austin versus Patton, the snipers very rarely run into each other on Anzio, to be honest. It's kind of just the way the map's always been played. You can send a sniper double windows as an axis to try to isolate that allied sniper, but I don't think that's a great idea because then you're just leaving bridge open. It's a lot tougher shot for a rifle or an Unter. I imagine Booten will be Untering bridge for T3. Like, and Patton will definitely be sniping bridge, like, for sure. He's not going to go snipe. He'll snipe double windows when they're pushing for caps, or he'll rotate over there. T3, they put a lot of emphasis on mid. I don't know. Icy Hot, we watched not put enough emphasis on mid in the match versus Typical that they lost by, like, 3 points. Hopefully they learn their lesson from that, because T3 knows the importance of mid. T3 is incredible grenades. Their nades will all be on point. They will break bridge over and over and over and over again on Allied side. If you think they might flub that nade from inside spawn, don't. If you know they're there, waiting to throw a nade, don't go for the cap, because they will break it. They won't miss that nade. Yeah, I mean, it's a tight matchup on Anzio, man. I don't know. I think Till and Leo are the cars, and Booten and Unter. Nick sniping, PDX, and Bud heavying. And then for Icy Hot, I imagine Beazle third, Matt and Jesse on the heavies, Austin sniping, Casey and Sick on the rifles. William has never played bridge until this season with a car either. That could be a situation where if he didn't get enough practice to feel comfortable on bridge with the car, that could be a problem. Because the guys he's going against will definitely feel comfortable on Allied side of bridge. So if William hasn't got the chance to really figure out like, I'm the same way. I never went bridge until now. I was always a double windows car and sniper. Like, I love double windows. I don't need to tell anybody that. William is the same way where, well, he was a heavy for most of his career. So he was going plaza to begin with, but then even when he rifled, he was rifling double windows. So hopefully he's had a chance to figure that out. You don't want, like, yeah, you could say William go plaza, Vertex go bridge, but Vertex is too good, I think, a tool in double windows to send him over to bridge just to have William be more comfortable. I think that William's playstyle caters to bridge a lot more than it does plaza anyways. He just has to have taken the time, even if it was like not scrimming, even if it's just fucking around in a server with a few people, to figure out what angles you like best, where you like playing from, where you don't like playing from, where you're vulnerable to nades and stuff like that. That might be a big key for Icy Out, is how comfortable Williams is feeling carring bridge. Because Booten, Leo, and Till, they know how to play bridge. You just got to play a fucking solid Anzio game, really. to have a chance to beat T3. You got to have everybody doing their shit. They're not going to throw anything too, like, surprising at you here. They're just going to play a flawless game of Anzio. And that's what you have to do. Man, I don't know. I mean, I got to go with T3. They're the favorites in every way. And you got to figure that there's no way they're not going to the finals. But I think ICEAT's going to have some surprises in store here. I think that even if they do lose, I think it's going to be 2-1, and I think that all the maps are going to be close. I don't think there's any way they get blown out, and I really hope for their sake, though, that they don't lose 2-1, and, like, their combined losses are by, like, 6 points total. You know, like, they lose by 5 points and 1 point or something. That would be heartbreaking for them. But I think it will be very, very close no matter what direction it goes, and ICEAT has every chance to win in this best of 3. The maps kind of worked out where, even though there's maps that will favor T3, 2 out of 3 here, you know what to expect out of them on it. You know the way that they play on them, you know they're good on it, and you can kind of like work together to figure out a way to work and counter that and freeze them out. You might not be able to because they're that good, but you could at least have a game plan going into it, which is always helpful. But you got to take T3. They're just, they're the best goddamn team there is right now, and it's tough to beat them under any circumstances, even on maps they don't like. They find a way to win. But I think that's going to be a ridiculous series, and I will definitely be casting that. Unfortunately, we play our match at 2 and 3 p.m. on Sunday, so any matches going on during that, 3-hour span, I can't cast. Assuming I'm even here, because we're supposed to get, something like 4 or 5 feet of snow in the next 48 hours. I was supposed to go to a wedding today, but there's a travel ban and state of emergency here, so I will be able to cast Love Me Not Washed Up if I'm alive and have power. But I'll spam about that later, of course. So that is it for the DODCAST. I don't think I got anything else to drop in here. Yeah. Good luck to everybody this week. This is the big show now. You got 1 final and 4 semifinals matches going on. Everybody knows their matchups, knows what's up, knows the maps. Get out there, play your asses off. I want to see some tight matches on the cast. I want to see some upsets. And we'll be back next week. I'm going to try to get Brandon on, because this was my fault that this didn't work out. 100% my fault. Just me. I don't know. I put it in my phone for Wednesday, and it wasn't Wednesday, apparently. It was Tuesday. I don't know where the disconnect happened. I kept telling everybody who asked, though, it's Wednesday night. And here we are, Friday at 12:30 p.m., and I'm just about to upload this. So, but yeah. Good luck, everybody, this week. KTP, #typical worst to first. Love you guys. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Of course, I will put the links to Corey's YouTube page in the description after this. Thank you to Bullet Fodder for always putting the times on here. Tony was supposed to do that, and he was like, Bullet Fodder's doing it. Why the fuck would I do it? We don't need 2 people doing it. So thanks to Bullet Fodder for that. I always forget to say that early on, and I always mean to, and then I'm like, oh, shit. And then I end up just throwing it in the description after. This time I'm actually saying it because I just remembered it at the last second. Good luck, everybody, this week. Yeah. It's going to be stressful for everybody. I totally get it. But KTP, love you guys. Peace.